Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and be a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on giving you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That 40-ish and under dollar range in most of these. Way less than that. And a good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. Just like the one I got today. I haven't seen this one personally pop up in the local rack store. This fragrance... not fragrance company, but car company, is known for making some pretty good fragrances, especially when they hit the rack store for the price that they come at. So for 25 bucks, I figured I'd roll the dice on this thing. And I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. The camera, yeah, I figured the camera's gonna have a hard time trying to focus on this thing because it doesn't know what direction to go. Fingerprint magnet. Just got some on there now. And if you can see it right there, that's it. Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. On the little plaque there, nothing on this side. Atomizer cap, this whole half comes off. It's chunky and plastic and light and cheap feeling, but whatever. And the atomizer, it's a nice atomizer. So as the name implies on this Mercedes-Benz Man Bright, bright is what you get because it opens up with a good, hefty, not sparing dose of bergamot. Crispy, juicy, fresh, bright bergamot right up top. There's a little bit of mint and pink pepper up in the top too. The pink pepper gives it a little bit of an enriching feel along with a fresh spicy accord. When you start to get into the mid of this fragrance, maybe 25 minutes down the road, you start detecting some of that incense, which is probably my favorite aspect of this fragrance. It's almost the same exact kind of incense that they use in Mercedes-Benz for Men Black Edition. Almost the same exact incense that is in this one is used in the Mercedes. The Mercedes one gets compared to Bleu de Chanel. I kind of get that. It does have a lot of similarities. Like Bleu de Chanel has that grapefruit ginger pop. That nice pop up top with a little bit of powderiness and that tonka bean and the amber and incense, the woods, that incense amber combination in Bleu de Chanel just makes it so gorgeous. And this has that bergamot mint combination, which kind of gives a similar feel with that pink pepper for that extra spark right up top. And the incense it's not quite as rich as the one that's in Bleu de Chanel. It's more like a sparkly incense like you find in the Bentley fragrance, and that's what you get in this. It's like little wisps of it here and there. And the cedar really starts to get pretty prominent in the base. The tonka bean gives it a small vanilla feel and amps up the powderiness just a little bit. Another big difference between this and Bleu de Chanel is Bleu de Chanel has, as you can imagine, a lot more quality and a lot of depth and character. This doesn't have that much depth. It's kind of flat. Even though I just explained a bunch of things and how it morphs from the opening to the dry down, it doesn't have a whole lot of depth. It's a little bit flatter landing, but still. Is it a fragrance that you need to run out and get? Short answer, no. Is it a good fragrance? Short answer, yes. It smells good. It smells pretty good. I was really digging it. I've been wearing this thing for the past 4 days in a row. It's a good gym fragrance, that's for sure, because one thing that I don't like so much about it is it doesn't project very hard and it doesn't last very long. It's not the worst in performance, but it's 4 hours maybe. The projection, I kept thinking that it was going to last longer because I would keep smelling myself pretty good for 3 hours. I'm like, hey, this thing's going to perform pretty decent. But it wouldn't. After 4 hours, it's just gone. So it was deceitful for that first 2 or 3 hours. Oh man, I'm smelling whiffs and puffs of that incense with a little bit of that crispy bergamot here and there and some of the powderiness from the tonkas. I'm like, yeah, I'm digging this. Kind of like a little bit of a green style of Bleu de Chanel, green de Chanel, if you will. It's kind of like what this would be like. And then 4 hours later, I'm like, where's it at? I don't think I'm going nose blind because it's not even on my clothes anymore so much after that. So I'm not a huge fan of the performance, and the scent profile is a little bit flat. So overall rating, I give it a 5.5 because I think it's a little bit better than your average smelling fragrance. as far as like one that you would find at the rack stores and whatnot. For $24, $24.99, $25, it's worth it. For the MSRP, what this thing was selling for when it first came out, no way. Now, like these Bentley fragrances, some of those and some of the other Mercedes fragrances, I believe are worth pretty much that MSRP because they're very, very good smelling. But this one is a little bit more generic, good smelling, and it's worth it at the $25 price point. But more than that, I wouldn't say that it's worth it. Definitely not worth the like $50 or whatever it was when it first came out. I think on discounters it was like 40, so definitely not worth that. Now, I know that some of you guys will probably like it a little bit more than I do, and I'm not saying that it smells bad. Again, it's a good smelling fragrance. It's just not the best. I know some of you guys wanted my take on Seraphim Blue, since I've been spending a little bit of time with that. I don't have a full bottle, but I did get a sample. I've been messing around with some of those, and I don't know why people are calling it a blue fragrance. To be honest, that thing's like a white fragrance to me. It's got creamy florals, creamy coconut, white florals, a little bit of oceanic. It's got, so like when you first spray it, you're hit with that good dose of creamy white floral with some sweetness, a little bit of that medicinal camphor and some eucalyptus, giving it kind of a, like a medicinal feel, like Vicks almost. But it's nice. It's really nice. And it does have a bit of marine and salt in there, keeping it nice and tropical. But for me, it's a white fragrance. It's not that blue of a fragrance, to be honest with you. It does have blue elements, but it's not a blue fragrance. That's just me. I don't know. I've never created a niche fragrance like some of these guys that like are liking this thing and whatnot. But in my personal opinion, it's a white fragrance. Is it good? It's a good fragrance. It's a really good smelling fragrance. Is it something I can justify spending that kind of money on a full bottle? Not really, because I have fragrances in my collection that are far cheaper that I like even more, that I would reach for even more. Now, overall, if I was going to give that thing a rating, I'd give it a solid 7 or 7.5. It is a good smelling fragrance, but it's not the end-all be-all to fragrances, just in my opinion. That's just me. Everybody has different taste. And so yeah, it's a good smelling fragrance. The projection isn't like the best. It's decent. It's about average in projection, and the performance on me, so far as I can tell, on close, it'll be real close for a long time. But as far as projecting at all, it's like 5 or 6 hours, so it's a little bit above average, but nothing crazy good. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Seraphim Blue, just real quick, because I've reviewed budget-friendly fragrances, but I know that some of you wanted my take on that thing. So there's that. But we're talking about this guy right here, the El Cheapo that you're going to find in the stores. Definitely worth it at $25, not more than that. So occasions to wear this: spring, amazing spring fragrance. This is great for the spring. I say I'm not like because it's so amazing smelling, but that's like, this thing will shine real good in the spring and the summer, daytime, casual, and the gym. A good gym fragrance. It's a casual, daytime, summer, hot weather fragrance, something that you just want to, it'll lift you up and just kind of get you in the mood to like go out and like do stuff kind of fragrance. Outdoorsy, summertime. Like, I live in Florida, we got the beach. I go to the beach all the time. It's like, I picture that kind of thing with this. So yeah, not a bad smelling fragrance. And I'll be reaching for it here and there. I don't think it'll really get lost in my collection because I like pretty much anything that smells like Bleu de Chanel. It's one of my favorite scented profiles. So yeah, it's my final thoughts on Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.